friends, and welcome to episode 187 of The Rewind, a podcast dedicated to keeping its listeners on the cutting edge of the MMORPG Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. Sorry to all of those who listened to this intro with bated breath. Last week I said episode 168. That is not the case. But we did do that episode too, and you should go back and listen to it if you haven't already. I'm certain it was one of our best episodes and still relevant even from 5 months ago. We need your help. If you haven't already liked and subscribed to the channel, please take a second to do so. If you find yourself in a position to help the channel financially, check out our Patreon or YouTube memberships and join a tier that works for you. If you like to have your name read or take part in our weekly top 5, like a change.org petition, your membership can influence the path our show takes. Drac, it has come to my attention that we are two salty old curmudgeons that have already fallen off our New Year's resolution to be a kinder, more positive rewind. Whoops! I'm sorry. I can't just idly sit by and watch us all get duped by the shininess that is a new PvP server or us trying to balance a game that isn't even complete yet. I know there are so many others who disagree with us, but thank you for continuing to listen, even if we say something you don't agree with. I know we all want what's best, and hopefully we will get something we all want out of this game that we've put so much time and passion into. Now, on with the show.
The adventurers stood in a ruined temple, facing a cloaked figure whose eyes gleamed with malice. The warlock raised his staff, chanting in a tongue long forgotten. A wave of sickly green energy pulsed outward, striking each of them. "Enjoy the chaos of PvP!" The warlock cackled before vanishing into the shadows. Calrock and archbishops immediately turned on each other, shields clashing as their paladin instincts screamed for battle. Ziplox, his vision hazy, lunged at Eliv, the halfling barely dodging the rogue's flashing daggers. Dwimble and Churodude, the two gnomes, circled each other, wands and daggers raised. "Sorry, friend," Dwimble muttered before vanishing into the shadows. Churodude countered, summoning a fiery elemental that swirled in defense. Screech unleashed a discordant melody, sending annoying llama into a fighting trance. The monk charged forward, striking with precise, bone-rattling blows. Only Anton Duviditis, struggling against the curse, realized the trap. With a desperate chant, he carved a rune of purification into the stone floor. A brilliant wave of energy surged outward, breaking the spell. The party staggered, panting, weapons still raised. "That was unpleasant," Eliv muttered. "Where did the warlock go?" Ziplox growled. The battle had only just begun.
This week in Visionary Realms News and Notes.
All right, Daimlos, I'm just one old curmudgeon talking to another old curmudgeon.
It's good to be here with you, old curmudgeon buddy.
We don't have a lot of official news this week. I think it's pretty much all hands on deck for PvP server. So that's kind of the big news, and mostly we're going to Joppa streams for that. So we'll get into that for the Joppa Says section. But we do have a couple of things we need to talk about. Some posts that our great friend, the greatest healer of all time, Vendini, found in the Discord. Number 1, more Hotbars. It doesn't quite have a change.org petition yet, but maybe it should.
It's coming.
But there is quite the fury about whether that we need more hotbars and we don't have enough room to store all our skills and we need more flexibility. How do you feel about that, Daimlos?
Once again, just like with these dumb Chevron discussions, let's wait till the damn game is done before we decide if we need more or less hotbars. The game is based on a limited action bar. If Joppa wants to just make everything free for all, where you can assign anything you want, but we still should only have 9 skills than the 4 combats and the 6 alternate spots. The hotbar is at maximum. I'm sorry if you want more. I'm sorry if you want literally everything on your hotbar, but the game is made from 10 years ago, built around you having to make hard decisions based on the combat that you're in. This is not even up for discussion. If we do this, if we expand these to more skills on your hotbar, then we're breaking the game. The game was built around this. Stop it, people. Stop.
Yeah, at some point we have to put our feet in the sand and we have to say, this is final and we're never going back on it. Sometimes I feel like VR never has that moment where they're like, okay. Like,
all it takes is a change.org petition.
All it takes is a change.org petition. And they're like, well, yeah, maybe.
Well, I think maybe we could change this.
You know,
I think Pantheon could be super cozy.
6
Let me
person
go
groups.
call up my Palia friends and see what's going on with them.
Do we really need a support class, Dimos? Let's just make everybody DPS.
Everyone has Mez. Let's just put Mez on everyone's bar. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. Not to be the second old curmudgeon on the show, but I just think like this should be a settled thing. I don't really.
It was settled 10 years ago, Drac.
Yeah, I don't
but
really
people
care.
keep bringing shit up because they don't know anything about the history of the game.
Yeah, I don't really care like which way we went 10 years ago, but we went away, and I think once you go away, we should stick with it.
Or you go away,
or or things just get really confusing, which also does tend to happen. Well, something that's not confusing is the Chevron people have clapped back, baby.
Yeah,
They're
chevrons.
Woo! They're coming with the fury, and they've got a long post about why chevrons are good. So if you are in the pro chevron crowd and you're annoyed by these weenie no chevron petition change.org people, then you should head over to that post and get in there with your anger and hatred, because let the dark side feed your soul.
Listen, I think that you and I probably really ultimately both agree on this. Chevrons, no chevrons, it doesn't matter. Somehow we're going to have to separate how the mobs are, but whatever way they figure out, is fine. Like if this is ruining someone's immersion, I certainly don't want it to do that. Like I want everyone to have the full immersion experience that you and I are going to have, Drac. It's just, this is not the time. There's a time and a place, and this ain't it. Let's finish the damn game. We've had no content since EA came out in December. And if anyone in the damn chat says, but Druid came out, then I'm going to flip shit upon you, because classes and races are not content. That's shit that already should be in the game and done, but it's still not. We need places to go, mobs to kill, like we had when we had seasons. It's been technically 2.5 seasons, and we haven't seen anything done. And so I feel like we're back in a place, the bad place, Drac, like the real bad place where we're just drifting. And this PvP server is just shiny distraction, and these chevrons and the drama is just shiny distraction, from the point that we don't have any content coming out and nothing is really getting changed. We had this huge Unity upgrade. Are they still working on that? Is that still an issue? Because we really haven't heard, okay, we're past this and now we're pumping out content again. There's just nothing. And that's a huge problem.
Yeah, it's a big problem. And I don't go with you. I don't think the PvP server, one way or the other, is a real big deal. Because I think, as you said, it's just a distraction. And I think the chevrons are a distraction. I think all this other stuff is a distraction. The most concerning part is what you just said. There's no content. We should have Black Rose Keep by now. There's been like, they've promised 3 other dungeons that are nowhere to be found and are not added into the game. They have to keep churning out content, or we're just going to enter the quagmire of quagmires, and it's going to get real ugly real fast.
I know that they put in Werewolf Dungeon, and that's cool, and it's a cool little dungeon that goes up. It's real neat, but there's 3 names.
Is that
in
a
there.
dungeon? I don't think that's a dungeon.
Technically, it probably is. It's certainly not Hal Near level dungeon, right? But it is still somewhat dungeony.
Yeah, it's
not, there's 100 mobs to kill in there. Maybe
I don't mind outside dungeons, but it's nothing like, it's not Hangor. It's nothing on that level. And they they put orcs in AVP too, but that's not really,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of content, but it's not like.
That was emergency content for people to kill stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That wasn't even real content. That I guarantee you those orcs are not supposed to be there.
Yeah. We need brand new content with new land masses. We have to keep moving the ball down the field or this thing is going to get glommed up and it's just not going to be good.
I guess they did put in those, what are the things in the Silent Plains? We talked about them a couple weeks ago.
That's filling in content that should have been in early access. That's, we're turning in our assignment late. That's what it is.
3.5 months late.
3.5 months late. That's 100% what that is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you said something earlier. You said we need to finish the damn game. So maybe that's what Just Let Me Play the Damn Game's new name could be?
Just let me finish the damn game?
Yeah.
Just let Joppa finish the damn game?
Yes!
That's what I want to tell his chat every day he turns on the stream. Just let Joppa finish the damn game. Let him do his game. Stop pestering him with these stupid PvP questions when we already know what the rule says. What's the content of the PvP going to be like? It's just you go. You get murdered. There's no balance. They were talking about balance in the game, in the PvP server. They wanted that in his chat. It makes my brain explode that they think that this is like a final game, a finished game. Sorry. We have started this episode in the same way we started last episode with me just riled up out of control, talking about the two things that, why are we talking about this? We should be talking about the content that they're putting out, and we're not doing that. That's why I'm so frustrated. So I'm sorry, listeners. I love you. Thank you for listening, like I said in the intro, but this is a joke. This is borderline humorous how pathetic it is at what we're churning out here. Just stop distracting. Just stop making them do other things that aren't vital to the game and let them make the damn game.
Just let me finish the damn game.
Hey, Joppa, you get me so excited about classes and abilities. When you say you're someone like a metal friends for me. Hey, Joppa, I hoped your words were pure gold. My broken heart is my fault, so now I carry around an extra shaker of salt. Hey, Joppa.
We got 3 streams this week, about 4-5 hours worth of streaming from Joppa. One of the really super new exciting things we had, of course, we had the warrior armor, and then we had the caster robes, and now we got monk armor, and it looks good.
Yeah, we're finally getting there, right? Like we're finally having some class differential and being able to tell who's who just by looking at them, and that's what we've always wanted, right? Like that's a big part of any MMO is you should be able to look at someone and at least have an idea of what they are. Especially if you're going to be in PvP, you're going to want to know what you're up against.
Yeah. Do you like the Raiden look for your monks?
Oh yeah, I mean that hat is classic, right? Like I don't think Raiden. I think like Samurai Jack, right? Like that's a badass samurai hat right there.
Joppa also mentioned that there's going to be several different colors of headbands that you can don for your monk as well.
Nice. Everyone loves a good headband. I know you prefer the headband of intellect, but that's not what we do here in Monkland. But yeah, it looks good. The picture, hopefully you're showing it on the screen. It definitely looks good. Joppa looks good. You know, that's a sexy man, and he's next to a sexy monk. So it's good stuff.
Joppa also mentioned that relics are not supposed to be a stat stick. Relics are supposed to alter one of your core spells or abilities of your class. And so he used the example of a cleric. So one cleric might have a relic that would make his or her healing better. And so that would be a cleric that would then specialize in healing, as opposed to another cleric that might have a relic that would alter his or her shielding. And so that cleric would be more specialized into shielding. I think that if they implement this, that this is super cool. And I would love to see this because I just think that is a more of a way to customize your character. But sometimes I question when Joppa gets off into this type of land, if we're actually going to land the plane on this one, you know what I mean?
That's why we always say as gold as is salt. This is cool. This is very similar to having trees, right? Like instead of trees, you just find an item and that's your tree. And I think that's cool because it shouldn't be a situation where you can go respec your tree and now you're this guy like in WoW or EQ2. I don't really like that. I like having the one item. This is a cool thing. I'm the shielding cleric. I'm the healing cleric. I'm the banner warrior. I'm the deflection warrior. Whatever the case may be is, I think this is cool, and I'm glad because it then opens up slots in the raid party, right? Like you can have two warriors. It doesn't have to be. Well, you're probably going to want two, certainly more than two, probably anyway. But hopefully, all tanks are equal when it comes to tanking mobs, not unlike an EQ. But I'd like to see this one land. Let's hope Top Gun is with Joppa on this one. Come on, Maverick.
You can be my wingman anytime. Joppa talked a little bit about grouping. Joppa understands that, right now, loot is not really worth going after. And this is really hurting people going after group mobs. Because if the loot really isn't all that important and doesn't really increase your overall power, then why are you going to sit there and grind mobs in Halnir when you can go solo mobs in AVP? And, he's got a really good point.
Well, I mean, we've been discussing this for, I don't know how long, Drac. Like, this is not the first time that this has come up.
Breaking news!
Yeah, right? I mean, this is why people are not playing the game anymore. There's nothing to play the game for. People hit their 40 and some have hit their 50 and all they've done is just played Embers Adrift. Like if this is what they wanted, they should go pay Embers Adrift people money and play that game. Because that's a place where you can just literally do nothing but grind and that's the game. So currently we're in Embers Adrift status when it comes to finding groups. Same sort of situation. There's not people to play because there's not a reward, other than your levels, which grinding, that's...
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Yeah. And my damage spells my fire spell, which is from level 12, does about the same damage it does when I got it at level 12. Like it's not getting bigger as I level up.
Wait, what? The game isn't balanced yet? I don't understand. Yeah, but we've got all these chevrons that we have to deal with.
Well, if you're upset about that, then you might be upset about this too, because Joppa talked about, quote, the chill factor for groups and how if you're killing thousands of mobs, it's not very chill because there's all these combat techniques and you have to just be on it and you have to be paying attention and you can't have Netflix on the background or read a Terry Brooks novel or any of that.
I want that. I don't want to be doing anything else. I want to be playing Pantheon while I'm playing Pantheon.
You're just a dirty raider. Like all you do is raid. You're just a raider mentality. You have to be at your keyboard at all times. Like what the heck, man?
This is why I make a good main tank. It's because I'm here. I'm present. I'm watching things. I'm learning the game. I'm learning what's going on around me. This is important. I want to be as knowledgeable as possible while I'm playing this game. And it's fine if we're all in like voice chat and yapping it up, but at least y'all listen to me. Like if I say, shut the hell up, let's focus, you do it. And that's important because sometimes things can get out of hand. It can be chill. We were chill for 2 hours last night, even with a named in there.
I feel like people really just haven't discovered the wizard class yet. There's just a bunch of hidden wizards out there that just don't understand that there's this magical class called the wizard. And you sit in the background, you cast all your nukes, you drain all your mana, then you refill all your focus, and then you sit and wait for your mana to regen. And it's super chill. Like the wizard is just a chill class. I think maybe you're just playing the wrong class.
I mean, everyone's playing a druid, right? That's pretty chill. You don't really have to do much. Your dog fox does everything for you.
DPS druid seems pretty chill.
Yeah. Nature wizard, better than normal boring wizard, confirmed. Thanks, Drac.
Whoa. Joppa also talked a little bit about the con color system. And he thinks that the light blue conning is turning people off because in previous MMOs, light blue meant that it wasn't good experience. But really, the difference between a light blue mob and a regular blue mob is only 15% experience. So light blue mobs are really good, especially for 3 to 4 people.
Well, just change everything. Who cares?
Are you okay to make light blue purple? That's the question on the table.
Purple's my favorite color, so tough to make purple kind of this light blue color that is not great. See, we're still in this whole light blue. It doesn't matter if we change it to purple or we change it to any other color. We can change it to fuchsia, and it's still going to be, oh, well, that's former light blue.
Here's the thing. I'm not caught up on the color.
Yeah.
I'm caught up on the fact that every time I kill a light blue, it doesn't feel like my bar moves. That's what I'm caught up on.
Well, there's that.
They can say 15%, but it doesn't feel like 15% to me. The blues seem to be way better than light blues, and until it feels better, then you can make it whatever color you want. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, Drac, we've got way more important things to do than to make the game balanced and fair. We got chevrons and PvP servers. Who cares about this conning system in your experience when we need to be focused on the real hard-hitting stuff?
Well, speaking of PvP servers, Joppa had his PvP QA today, and I have
turned
to say
this
there
right
were,
off. I just turned it right off. I literally sat through 2 minutes of it and turned it off.
Well, you didn't miss a lot because
Shocker.
it didn't go very far because there weren't that many questions, or at least questions that Joppa answered from chat. There were a few. Most of the information wasn't all that new. Joppa wants everyone to know that Pantheon PvP is different from pretty much every newer PvP that's ever existed, because Pantheon PvP exists in a PvE world, and that makes it way different than, organized, structured, WoW arenas or Guild Wars 2 realms or any of that type of stuff. And so he thinks that there is a huge demand for this type of PvP.
Huge demand.
I may have used the word huge.
Do we know the current number of people that said it would be their home, their main home? Has it hit 1,000 yet?
Yes, it will be my new home. 591 votes, 8%. So it went down.
So not even a server's worth of people.
20% of people said, yes, I might try it or play it occasionally. So 1/4 of the population will try it. 3/4 of your people on your Discord are not even going to probably one time log on to this server.
Including us. That's why we're so curmudgeon-y about it.
We're not going to do it. We're just not. We're not PvP people. And we have no interest in being in a PvP game.
This is literally 247 2.0. At least they are not like changing the game drastically like they did with 247, but it's just another distraction. This is what upsets me. This is why I get so upset about it, because we've done this song and dance before, people. I know that we're old and curmudgeons, but they've already tried to flash this in front of our eyes with 247.
Right.
You're getting distracted.
100%. We did this. We were here when they did 247, and after the first week, no one, and I mean like no one was playing on those servers. It was awful.
Like, you know who played that server? The loud minority. There were so many people that played 247. Oh God, all 14 of us. We were so strong together. It was so awesome.
It was literally 10 to 15 people that were playing, because you could log on and you could do a who all, and you could see how many people were logged on if it was less than 100. And every single time I logged on just to check, like, it was always less than 100, and most of the time there was less than 10 people on. It was not good.
This is why we're so upset. We were upset when 247 rolled out, and we're upset about this now because it's just distracting them from making the game. It's just so upsetting. Sorry if you're PvP people. I want you to have your own server. Name it the 247 server. Whatever. Have a great time over there with your factions and your good and evil and everything like that. But all we got to do is just make a server. And Joppa said, that one of the very first things out of his mouth was, we need to have this in at the very beginning. I don't think that that's the case. If we're not balancing anything and we're not doing anything other than just throwing PvP in a regular server and a PvE server, then what do you need to do right off the bat other than just let people attack each other? I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah, why do we need a QA if we're just turning it on and letting everybody go? And I think the answer is, and you and I know this internally, the answer is that's not what's going to happen.
Nope.
They are going to spend time and resources in this thing, and it is going to distract from what needs to be happening, which is content, and more.
Because what's the first thing that all these PvPers are going to say when this thing fires up? Oh, this class is so unbalanced. It's so strong. Everyone's playing an enchanter. Everyone's playing a warrior. Everyone's whatever the dominant class is, which will likely be a dire lord, is what everyone's going to play. There's no chance against a dire lord. You need to balance this. We already said we're not going to balance it. Why are you coming after us like this? Here's what you wanted. Go play it and shut the fuck up. If I hear one balance complaint out of any of these PvPers, I am gonna flip shit. Ugh. But you're right, Drac. It's gonna distract them.
I think you have a long, depressing run ahead of you.
I know for a fact that I do. I already know.
But Joppa did get into some of the details, and since we are a Pantheon podcast, we probably should cover it.
Okay.
All right, so PvP, you can only PvP with people 5 levels above you and 5 levels below you. So I feel like we've already broken our own rule.
Yes.
Because we said we're not going to change anything. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to flip it on.
Yes.
But that's not flipping it on.
Nope. We already have rules, so
we already have rules.
Perfect.
All right.
This isn't the Wild West like we thought it was going to be.
No, it's not the Wild West. It's Kittyland and safety cars.
Yeah, bring the Wild West. That's what I want. I'm a PvPer. I want someone that's level 50 to just grief me and then be able to send tells to me about how they're griefing me. This is going to be great. There's not going to be any problems with this.
Added to that, they cannot loot the loot that's on your body, equipped in your character, or bags. So anything that you have equipped and any bags will remain on your body when you die from PvP.
Okay, I think we did say that at the beginning, so that's fine.
There will also be no sharding for PvP and no experience lost from a PvP death.
Well, why would we not lose experience if we're getting murdered?
I mean, I think it'd be pretty rough.
Yeah, that's the
your
Wild
hardcore.
West.
That's your hardcore PvP server.
Isn't that what the PvPers want? They want this hardcore Rallo Zek lifestyle. If you die in the game, you die in real life. It's Sword Art Online.
I don't remember. Did you lose experience in EverQuest when you died in PvP? Come on, some of you old school
I have no
EQ
idea. We didn't play it. We didn't play the server.
Somebody put it in chat. We have no idea because we didn't really do it.
It's fine. Maybe they didn't. Maybe that's a EQ copy.
All right, Daimos, but hold on to your butt. There's more.
I'm holding on to my butt right now.
Joppa then went on to explain to you and me why that PvP is more popular than you think it is.
According to this poll, it is 8% popular.
And even though the poll he even mentioned the poll in his quote, even though it was not popular in the poll, he thinks that people are dying to get into a PvP server, and he thinks it's going to be very popular. Not only that, he said one of the last conversations he had with Brad was that Brad wanted to push PvP out sooner rather than later.
You better have that in text, Joppa. You better have that in some sort of writing somewhere, because I don't believe that for shit. That's unbelievable. I
was just like, oh, you brought Brad into this? That's like that kind of feels like you're losing the argument with your wife, and you pull out and you say I'm the husband, so I make the decision.
Remember when Nathan made that video that barely contested what was going on and made the community revolt against him, and there were a lot of people in chat that were like, oh, talking about Brad's vision is so cringe. I now understand what
it's
what
a
they
little
were
cringe.
Like, why
it's
they said cringe. That. And that's a little cringe. But also, How do you twist these business numbers? Like, I don't know if you've been to a corporate meeting anytime recently, but like, this is what businesses do. Oh, 8%. Well, how do I spin this to be what I want it to say? Because even though the vast majority doesn't want this, I'm still going to spin it. Spin.
75% of your active diehard Pantheon fans are
not going to touch it.
Not touching it with a 10-foot pole
Spin.
at all.
I've spin. This is the finest, most luxurious PvP server of all time.
You made option number 2 is so wide open and so inviting for anyone that would possibly want to do PvP.
Yeah.
Yes, I might try it. Like, I might try it one time.
I turned it on for an hour.
20%. That's so bad.
Why? I love you, Brad. I miss you every day. I also love you too, Joppa.
We do love you, but please, can the PvP era end and can we get back to making content, please?
From the SGL Action News Desk, this is MMO News, featuring your anchors, Drac and Daimlos.
Daimlos.
Yes, Drac.
We have not had an F-word online update in probably like 2.5 years.
Isn't that game dead?
I thought it was.
Can we just let things die that need to die? I guess
For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, Fractured Online is an indie-developed MMORPG that we somehow coerced Nathan Napalm to play with us, and he has hated ever since.
Well, turns out Nathan himself has dumped $7 million into this game.
Are we sure? Are we sure that it was Nathan? Are we sure that it wasn't Nathan?
I'm 100% positive that Nathan is the angel investor that has now made Fractured Online no longer a crypto scam.
Nathan Napalm, we're confirmed, owns Happy Cauldron Games.
Champion of Fractured Online, Nathan Napalm, is now the angel of all things fractured.
This game needs a lot of work.
Oh, I don't even think Nathan Napalm money can get it out of.
I don't think so either. But I'm excited that at least it's surviving. We had fun with it for like a month maybe, but it was really rough. It was really rough then, and it has not gotten better as it's went along. It's had a rough road. 3
unpaid staffers and a tiny player base.
Yeah, super tiny. But apparently this Duncan Davis with Happy Cauldron Games has come along. He's bought the whole thing. He's paying the 3 staff, and he's hiring more staff and a community manager. So this is like the dream, right?
Yeah, why can't Pantheon get this? Come on, Duncan. Why don't you give some money to Pantheon, like a real game that could be good? Probably because Joppa doesn't want to bend to his will, and Fractured but Whole Online.
They were like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you want, Duncan. We'll make this game for you, buddy. Whatever. I guess if I was an unpaid developer, whatever Duncan wants, Duncan gets. You're going to pay me? Okay, great.
Pantheon's hasn't been that desperate yet. At least they've always been able to at least pay some of their people part-time all the time.
And then lay off the other half. But whatever, that's
pause.
Fine. They're back now. They're back, baby!
5.
Drac, I'm so disappointed in you.
4.
Luckily, every week I dominate this list and just destroy Daimlos.
3.
I thought you would just tuck your head between,
no
your
way.
cheeks.
No, my list is amazing.
It's not at all.
2.
Oh, already your list is the worst. Your list is the worst.
1.
Daimlos, I don't know that you know this, but this top 5 was inspired by our Thursday night stream, Chaos Theory.
Yeah, they did have some Disney Smackdown, and that's fine. The problem is, this is not a salty one, because there are so many good Disney movies, like the non-animated. Let's introduce it. This is the top 5 non-animated Disney movies. Anything that has some animated characters in it is totally fine as long as there's real life bodies and actors and backdrops that are real in the movie. Then you're good. So, Drac, I know your list is probably going to be terrible from, the 1960s and 70s of movies that were, not good. But we'll see. What do you got? What's your number 5?
Listen, I think most of these movies are good because Disney has a huge array of really, really good non-animated movies. And so I think I'm going to agree with most of them. But I reserve the right to crap all over your sucky picks. But
whatever. There's no way. There's no way you will.
But for myself, I'm going to start out with a classic, which is, of course, Swiss Family Robinson. The ultimate story about a family stranded on an island. They make a giant treehouse. Who doesn't like a giant treehouse? And fight off pirates. It's a great novel and a great adaptation into a fantastic Disney movie. Super wholesome. Love Swiss.
What is this, just Swiss Family Kellethan?
Family Robinson. Yeah, Swiss Family Kellethan.
No, the treehouse is cool. It's too bad this movie's so old. It bored me when I was a kid, so I'm not super high on it. But you're right. It's super wholesome, super family oriented, just like Disney wanted. And that's what they do. So I can't completely hate it. It's just not how I'd want to spend an hour and a half of my time, especially with the entire huge Disney catalog that we could go to before this one. So terrible number 5, Jack. How about my 5?
Yeah, let's hear it.
This is, everyone loves this movie. This is, if you were a kid in the 80s and maybe early 90s, you are absolutely in love with this movie. And number 5 is Flight of the Navigator. Who doesn't want to meet an alien, pilot a ship, see all some crazy stuff? This was my childhood. This was a huge staple of my childhood, was Flight of the Navigator. I absolutely loved this movie. Drac, did you ever see this one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love Flight of the Navigator. Real good, solid choice. I can't quite crack my top 5, but definitely a solid movie. I understand.
You're a sci-fi guy. How did this not beat Swiss Family Robinson? Now, are you kidding?
Swiss Family Robinson pulls at my heart because my whole family watched that movie together as we were growing up. We had the VHS tape.
The nostalgia.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And at the end where they're racing on all the different animals and stuff, how can you not love Swiss Family Robinson?
Okay, fine. Maybe I didn't give it a good enough chance. Maybe I was too young when I watched it and I just didn't get it and I, got it boring. Maybe I'll go watch it again. Maybe I'll fire up Disney Plus and see what we can do about it.
You absolutely should. Something else you should fire up? A Little Miracle on Ice, because that movie is so good. So good.
This is such a good movie. I poo-poo on many things that Canada does, like maple syrup and everything. But I tell you what, hockey, I had no idea how much I loved hockey until I saw this movie. And this is a recent one for me. I only saw this maybe 5 years ago for the first time. And I know it's much older than that. But this is such a great movie.
Oh, that's just freaking criminal. Just criminal.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's sad that I waited so long. It's just, I'm not a huge hockey fan, but this movie, we were talking about this beforehand. There is one thing that Disney does right, and it is sports movies.
Yeah.
They crush sports movies, and this is absolutely one of them. I couldn't believe how much I loved this movie after I saw it. I'm so angry at myself for waiting so long to see it. And so many people were like, "Oh, Miracle, it's so good. It's such a good story. It'll make you cry. It'll make you laugh." And it did all those things, and I love it for it.
Yeah.
Great choice,
when they wanted to bring the better player on and the team was like, "No, we're a team and we're going to win as a team." And you're like, "Yeah, USA."
I mean, there's nothing better than rallying around America, right?
Yeah, I'm tearing up right now talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally get that. Well, let's stop your tears there, Jack. We don't want to get this. This will run way too long if we let you cry up. But one of the funnier movies of the old time Disney movies is The Cat from Outer Space. This is another one of my childhood. Like, I just remember after Saturday morning cartoons, our local Fox station would always run these old timey Disney movies, and this one was always on. And you know me, I'm a huge cat fan. So if we're talking cats from outer space, trying to get back home, trying to fix their ship, it's just so unbelievably good. There was something about these movies, especially when you're a kid, and there's just going to be so many left off this list. So hard to get 5. Right? Like that's the worst part of this.
Disney had so many good sports movies, and they also had so many good cat movies. That darn cat, that was a fantastic movie where they were
both of them, because remember they remade it.
Yeah, they were following the dumb cat around town trying to find the lady that got kidnapped. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, cats just make good movies. What can you say?
You know what else makes good movies is my number 3, which is, of course, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. This
great choice.
Movie, shattered everything. There was new technology. It was new cinematography. Did this win some awards? I'm pretty sure this won some awards. If it didn't, it should have, because this was an amazing movie. It was a great story. It was about fatherhood and family, and I loved every second of it. And I think I also cried at this one. Apparently, I'm just a blubbering idiot when it comes to Disney movies.
I mean, we all are. All these movies are so great. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is another staple. First off, it introduced a whole different generation to Rick Moranis, which then in turn all got us hooked on Spaceballs as well as Lord Helmet. A wonderful actor. It's too bad that his wife got so sick that he had to stop acting, because he was so great, except for in the following 7 Honey, I blanked the whatever movies that he did. Other than those movies, everything else he did was great, but yeah, he's coming back.
The sequels were not as good.
No,
they were not as good.
Not even the second one was good. It was okay, but then everything after that was just, and a little science, a little humor, a little crying. You felt bad for that baby ant who, protected those kids. It was great.
Dude, spoiler alert. What the heck?
Oh, sorry if you've not seen a 30-year-old movie at this point.
Speaking of spoilers, what's your number 3?
Well, we've said it before and we've said it again. Disney does one thing the best over everybody else, and that is sports movies. And I'm just absolutely shocked this didn't make your top 5 either. I know it was close, but Cool Runnings, man. Feel the rhythm.
Feel the rhyme.
Get on up. It's bobsled time.
I think I ruined it a little bit, but I was close.
No one remembers the Get On Up. I think it might change at some point. Maybe not. I can't remember. It's been a while. But John Candy, Doug, also star of That Darn Cat. Just great movie, and one of John Candy's best, and ultimately one of Disney's just best. This is another tearjerker at the end. I didn't cry as a kid, but watching it now, it just, all the emotions start flooding in, and when they're carrying that bobsled across the finish line, you just start weeping a little bit.
When they cross the finish line, and he's like, "Now I know what it's like to be a man," and you're like,
ah! Jack, you dead man.
Yes.
Oh, love it. Anyway, let's keep this rolling. What's your number 2, Jack?
Well, we're going back to some oldies and goodies. I personally like The Parent Trap. Not the new one, which new 15 years ago. We're talking about the super old one with Haley Mills, the original.
No Lindsay Lohan.
Get Lindsay out. She can go do something else. Haley Mills, the original Parent Trap, just a classic, super funny, just amazing movie. I liked all the pranks that they did in that movie with they played on each other, and then they played on the parents, and then on the boyfriend or whatever. And it was just a great, fun family movie.
Love it. This is another one that they just played on my local Fox station after Disney cartoons or after all the animated cartoons were done. Just a good, wholesome family. Absolutely love Parent Trap. So good choice here.
All right. Well, I don't think I can fault you for your number 2 either.
Quack, 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 Yes, number 2 is
Flying V, baby!
the
Flying V!
Mighty Ducks. Yes, Flying V, Knuckle Puck, even though that's in number 2. All those kids, Emilio Estevez, you cannot go wrong with this movie. I don't know about you. This had a lot of heartwarming moments. It was so great. I can't get enough of the Mighty Ducks. All 3 of them weren't bad, but the first one was by far the best. And I even liked, the third one where they were America's team. It was pretty good. But the number 1 will always live in my heart.
Well, for me, I loved the Mighty Ducks. I thought it was good. It's just like there's so many good movies. How can you put them all on your list? It's just impossible.
Yep.
So it just didn't quite crack the top 5.
So here's what we're going to do because we couldn't put all these on our list.
No, we're not there yet. We still got number 1.
Honorable mention goes before the number 1.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
What do I even run this show? Do I have any say whatsoever?
I'm cutting all that out. But because we can't list them all, I'm going to now, in 30 seconds, list off all these movies that we couldn't put on our list that didn't make it, but should be there anyway. So here we go. We've got George of the Jungle, Meet the Deedles, Muppet Treasure Island, Flubber, Heavyweights, Brink, The Santa Claus, Angels in the Outfield, Invincible, Glory Road, Blank Check, The Three Musketeers, Hocus Pocus, Muppet Christmas Carol, Return to Oz, The Rocketeer, Benji, Something Wicked This Way Comes, Tron, Popeye, all the Herbie movies, The Apple Dumpling Gang, Inspector Gadget, and don't forget The Chronic Whatcos of Narnia. Word. All honorable mentions. Love it. Love all these movies so very much.
Dude, I forgot about the Apple Dumpling Gang until you put it down on this list. And I was like,
you're welcome.
How could I do that? The Apple Dumpling Gang.
I love the Apple Dumpling Gang.
So good.
So good. Unbelievably good.
Yeah, there was
Screech will appreciate that one because he's got super long old balls.
Yeah, and the second one was pretty good too. Not quite as good as the first one.
The Return?
Yeah,
the Return of the Apple Dumpling Gang.
The Return of the Apple Dumpling Gang was pretty good too. Yeah, and
I just something about those wholesome Disney movies, right?
Yeah.
Like, and there were some that we didn't even say, but are going to end up on our Patreon's list that I just think are top notch. But these were just some of the ones that no one mentioned that I had to mention because there are so many great movies.
Dude, and Tron. How are we leaving Tron off the list?
Anyway, so now that we've listed all these movies that we didn't make it to our top 5, what's your number 1?
Well, for me, the number 1, it has to be Pirates of the Caribbean. I love this movie. The first one was so good. The rest of them kind of went downhill. Not that they were bad. They just weren't iconic like the first one was. The acting was so amazing. The characters were out of this world. I love a good pirate story. I thought that what they did with the undead, the skeletons walking around in the sea was so good. The sword fighting, everything was just so great about this movie, and I just love the character Jack Sparrow. The music, I
was about to do that. I was about to call you out on that. I was like, you forgot the best part of the whole movie. Bump, 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 bump. Bump, 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 bump.
Yeah, it's so good.
So good. So good. I would listen to that soundtrack. Like that was one of the things that movies nowadays are missing. Like I want to buy a good soundtrack. The music is by far the best part. And all of it's good. All those things you listed were all great. It just happens that the music is so much better than all that stuff. But everything's a 10 out of 10. There's nothing bad about Pirates of the Caribbean. Not one thing.
That movie had 0 holes. It was amazing. Chef's kiss. How about your number 1, Davos?
For me, we're going back to the sports movies. How could we be remiss if Remember the Titans was not on a number 1?
Oh my goodness, this hurts me so much that this wasn't on my list.
I know. There's too many. And for me, I'll be honest with you, I probably liked Glory Road better than Remember the Titans, but it's Remember the Titans,
it's
right?
Denzel. It's
Denzel, right? Like this movie is just a much, much better movie than Glory Road. I just happen to like basketball more than I like football, but Remember the Titans is so unbelievable, and the story behind it being loosely based on a real life story, plus all the life lessons that come from this movie, and Denzel on top of that. Like Denzel's just easily one of the best actors of our time, hands down. top 5 actors of all time, right? Like if we did a top 5 actors, Denzel better be on everybody's list, right? He's just that good. But yeah, this movie, you laugh, you cry, you learn something, you feel bad, you feel great. It's everything you ever want in a movie all wrapped into one, and it's wholesome. Like just unbelievably good. So yeah, number 1, Remember the Titans. I could watch it at any time. It's that unbelievably good.
You do not let them get another yard.
So good. So good. All right, Jack, let's get on to this Patreon list. Play the sound.
Diddly-doo, diddly-doo, diddly-doo.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So let's see. We got all 5 here, but of course, Annoying Llama is fired because he had to get all of his movies from his fiance. So
because he doesn't watch Disney. What the heck, Llama? What
doesn't watch Disney?
Who doesn't watch Disney?
Everyone loves Disney. So let's just run this quick 5. We got Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Great. The live action Peter Pan from 2003. This is actually a pretty good movie. I wouldn't say that it belongs on a top 5, and it didn't even make our honorable mention list, but it was okay.
Was Hook
I like
Disney?
Peter Pan.
Was Hook Disney? Because if Hook was Disney, it doesn't even hold a candle to Hook.
Hold on. I hope it's not. It better not be.
I don't think it is. I don't think Hook's Disney. I think that's why.
If it is, and we didn't.
If we left it on the list, that's a
It was TriStar.
Yes.
TriStar Pictures.
Good. Okay,
Thank
good.
God.
Whew. Dodged
Okay.
the bullet.
Whoo, buddy. That would have been so bad because that movie was so good.
Rufio.
Rufy. Oh! Anyway, we're getting way offhand. So, live action Peter Pan, it was good. Then Pirates 3, 2, and 1. So, I mean, at least he agreed with his fiance agreed with your number 1 track, so that's good.
I feel like he mailed this in. Like this was not.
Oh, huge mailing. Oh, it doesn't help that he literally did it while we were recording this, so he got it in under the wire. But also you forgot to tell him 4 days ago that this was the topic. So
listen, you are in charge of getting the Rewind Patreons the top 5. Your job. That's your job.
If you come up with it, you just put it in there.
No,
I agreed to it. I agreed to it 2 seconds after you put it in the thing.
It's your job.
No, whatever. Anyway, okay. Well, good job, Annoying Lamba, on barely meeting the deadline. Let's see who's next. Let's go to. Well, we didn't hear from Screech last week, so let's hear from him this week. So we got number 5, The Parent Trap. Good,
solid choice.
I assume that it's the Haley Mills one and not the Lindsay.
Oh, you know it is.
Although it
is.
I don't know because his number 4 and number 3 are High School Musical and Holes. High School Musical? Really? I get that this was a huge movie and that it made a shit ton of money and that a lot of people love it. But Screech, you're 97. How do you like this movie? I'm half your age and I hate this movie. I didn't watch it once. I don't know anything about it. I will never go see the High School Musical live. I will refuse to do that. Even if I had children and they were in it, I still wouldn't go see it because I don't want to just even deal with this drivel. So I don't know how that made your list. But Holes, that had actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf in it when he was a kid. And a lot of people like this movie. I didn't see it. But Escape to Witch Mountain, definitely great movie. Pirates of the Caribbean, number 1. Look at that. Everyone loves the pirates. Everyone loves the pirates.
Jack Sparrow for the win, baby.
I couldn't agree more. Let's move on to Archbishops because I definitely want to talk about some of these movies. First off, one of those old-timey ones, Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Oh, I love that movie.
Absolutely belongs on the list. The reason it wasn't in the honorable mention is because Archbishops put it in his, along with, I did list Hocus Pocus, but that was another one.
Jessica Lansbury's greatest work.
Bedknobs and
Broomsticks.
First off, Murder, She Wrote was great, but also she was Mrs. Lovett in Sweeney Todd. She was the original Mrs. Lovett.
Bedknobs and Broomsticks is better.
No way. All right. Well, great number 5, great number 4, super great number 3. But then we got Nicolas Cage.
I'm out on that. Sorry.
Were these fun? Were these fun movies? Yes.
They were.
Were they good?
They were okay.
No.
Yeah, no.
They were not good.
No.
They were fun. I was entertained. I didn't, I saw them at home. I didn't go to the theater and spend $10 on these movie tickets, and thank God, because they weren't $10 worth, but they were worth a rent. You rent them for $3 or whatever it was when Hollywood Video and Blockbuster were still in existence, and yeah.
No one
they were
but you
entertaining.
knows what Hollywood Video is, just FYI.
Well, that's because I used to work for them. That's how
I'm aware.
Exactly.
I'm aware.
Yeah. Great. Let's move on to D. Wimble. Listed one that probably should have made it in the honorable mention. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Great movie. Another one, Muppet Christmas Carol. Great. Also made it in the honorable mention list of 100 movies that I listed. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Great. We already talked about that. Cool Runnings. Great. And Mighty Ducks. So Dwimble's list is actually pretty good.
Pretty solid. Not bad for the Dwimble.
Certainly
this
better
week.
than your last week. Your last week was worst of the pack. And this time you are probably still worse than the pack.
Well,
let's be honest. No, Llama is the worst of the pack.
In chat, Dwimble was calling his shot, saying that his list was better than both of ours. I don't know about any of that.
No way.
But it was a solid list.
First off, he has 2 of my 5 picks, and the rest are either in yours, or I guess none of us mentioned Who Frames Roger Rabbit. But I didn't put it in because I saw his list before, so it didn't make the honorable mention list because we were going to talk about it. So really, I'm just going to say that his is the worst because...
Is Who Framed Roger Rabbit a top 5, though? I don't know about top 5.
Well, when you're of the age of 12 to, say, 15, and something like Jessica Rabbit gets animated, I can see why it's on someone's top 5.
I'm not bad. I was just drawn that way.
Just drawn that way. Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's great. Last but not least, let's hit Zip. We got Homeward Bound. Another great one. Thank you for mentioning this one, Zip. The rest of them were not great, but the original one, Michael J. Fox was a dog. I don't remember the other 2 voices, but it doesn't matter because it was a good movie. Then we got Cool Runnings, Angels in the Outfield. So good. Mary Poppins. Just a great choice here. And the Muppet movie. There's no bad list, really, of any of these lists, including both of ours. I clearly won, just like I always do, because Remember the Titans is the greatest Disney movie of all time. So I win, but nice try, Drac. Maybe next time.
You might win in your delusional world, but I'm pretty sure that once again I have dominated the space, and I am the original Disney kid, so you have to give it to me this week.
No.
Before you leave, we've one final word. Before you've forgotten all that you've heard, there is a moment evergreen. Stay here a while and listen to me.
All right, Dimos, we've come to that sad, sad time when it's time to say goodbye.
That's okay. I want to go watch some Disney movies. So let's get this thing wrapped up so I can go watch the Apple Dumpling Gang rides again.
Yeah, hopefully we can also say goodbye to all PvP talk and Chevron talk. Can we just say goodbye to that as well?
Happy to. Bye-bye, PvP. We'll never talk about you ever again. Bye.